The night was heavy with silence. Dust floated in pale beams of moonlight seeping through the cracked curtains. The old wooden clock had stopped ticking days ago, and the air smelled of fading memories. Milo sat near the window, his silver fur glowing faintly under the moon, his small blue ear shimmering softly. His green and amber eyes reflected the emptiness of the home that once held laughter, warmth, and love. Now it was only the echo of footsteps that would never return. Lily's scent still lingered on the couch. Milo pressed his face against the cushion where she used to rest, his whiskers trembling as if trying to feel her presence again. He remembered her gentle hands, the laughter when she called him, "My brave little star." Every corner of the room whispered her name. But she was gone, taken by time, leaving Milo with memories that hurt more than loneliness. Outside, the wind brushed the garden where Lily once planted daisies. Milo's glowing ear flickered faintly as he watched the petals shiver under the moonlight. Something inside him told him it was time to leave. The house no longer belonged to the living. He looked back one last time, meowed softly into the silence, and stepped out into the cold night. The streets were empty, washed with rain. Milo walked slowly, his paws leaving faint imprints on wet concrete. The city lights flickered in puddles, forming distorted shapes of color and memory. Every passing car light reflected in his eyes like distant ghosts. He moved without purpose, driven only by instinct and something deeper, hope. He passed by the bakery where Lily once bought him treats. The smell was gone now, replaced by the bitterness of cold air. A stray dog barked from across the street, but Milo didn't flinch. He had learned not to fear noise, only silence. The rain intensified, but he didn't seek shelter. The droplets clung to his silver fur, tracing the faint blue glow of his third ear. It pulsed softly, as if responding to his pain. Under a broken streetlight, Milo stopped. A reflection in a puddle showed him not as he was, but as he once had been, a happy, loved creature. He stared at it until the ripples erased his image. Then, from a nearby alley, came a faint meow. A small kitten, trembling and soaked, looked up at him. Milo approached slowly. Their eyes met, and the kitten stepped closer, seeking warmth. Milo curled around it, sharing his body heat. For the first time in days, his heart softened. Milo and the kitten found refuge under an abandoned bridge. The concrete was damp, but at least it was quiet. Water dripped steadily from above, forming a rhythmic beat that felt like a lullaby for the lost. The kitten slept, small and fragile, pressed against Milo's chest. Milo's eyes remained open. He looked out through the gaps of the bridge, watching headlights streak past like falling stars. The sound of rushing water below reminded him of the ocean Lily had once shown him from their balcony. "Someday we'll go there," she had said. He remembered her smile, the way she held him close. That promise now floated like a broken feather in his mind. A loud noise startled him. A stray dog, scarred and lean, crept toward them, growling. Milo stood his ground, his fur rising, the blue ear beginning to glow brighter. The dog lunged, and Milo leaped forward, claws flashing. The fight was quick but fierce. The dog backed away, snarling, then disappeared into the rain. Milo panted, eyes locked on the shadows. The kitten stirred, and he gently nudged it back to sleep. His ear dimmed again. He looked at the sleeping kitten and realized something. He was no longer protecting just memories. He was protecting life. Days passed. The rain gave way to fog, and the city softened into quiet gray mornings. Milo led the kitten toward the edge of town, where Lily once took him on walks. They reached a forgotten garden, overgrown, wild, but still alive. Broken benches leaned among the weeds. Old flowers bloomed in places untouched by time. Milo guided the kitten to a dry patch under a rusted swing. The kitten meowed happily, chasing a fallen leaf. Milo watched, eyes tired but gentle. He could almost see Lily sitting there again, laughing as she pushed the swing. He began to dig near the daisies, uncovering a half-buried photo frame. Inside, the image of Lily holding him as a kitten smiled through the glass. The edges were cracked, the colors faded, but it was real. He pressed his nose against it. A low, mournful purr escaped him. The kitten approached and rubbed against his leg. Milo looked at it with quiet understanding. The world was cruel, but it was also capable of beauty. He decided the kitten would not grow up alone. That night, a storm returned. Thunder rolled through the clouds, shaking the ground. The kitten hid beneath Milo, trembling. He wrapped his tail around it, his glowing ear lighting the darkness in rhythmic pulses. But the cold wind carried danger again. The same stray dog had returned, hungrier, desperate. It lunged out of the shadows. Milo faced it without hesitation. The clash was violent, their silhouettes illuminated by lightning. The kitten cried out as the fight raged. Milo clawed and bit, but the dog's size was overwhelming. A final strike sent Milo rolling into the mud. He rose again, limping, his blue ear blazing like a tiny star. With a last surge of strength, he leaped, landing on the dog's back. A sharp yowl filled the air. The dog fled into the storm, defeated. Milo stood still, drenched and bleeding. The kitten ran to him, nuzzling his chest. His breathing slowed. His ear dimmed, then steadied to a calm, soft glow. He lay down, pulling the kitten close, and whispered a sound that felt like a farewell. The storm passed. Dawn arrived quietly, painting the world in pale gold. Milo lay under the old swing, his fur wet but calm. The kitten slept beside him, safe and warm. Birds began to sing, their voices fragile yet full of hope. Milo lifted his head weakly. He looked toward the horizon where the sun began to rise. The light reflected in his mismatched eyes, turning them into tiny mirrors of the sky. His glowing ear flickered faintly, softer than ever before. He thought of Lily one last time. Her voice echoed faintly, like wind through the leaves. "You're my brave little star." He closed his eyes, and for a moment he saw her smiling, reaching out to him across the light. Then everything faded into peace. The kitten meowed, nudging his still body. The blue ear glowed once more, then went dark forever. Weeks later, the garden bloomed again. The kitten had grown stronger, playful and curious. Every morning, it sat near the daisies, looking toward the sky. One day, a child passed by and noticed the small cat. She knelt, smiling, and picked it up gently. The kitten purred and looked up. Above them, a faint blue star shimmered in the early dawn. Somewhere beyond the light, Milo was watching, his promise fulfilled, his heart at peace. The world moved on, but his glow remained.